Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Coin 1. We're diving into one of the most fascinating and collectible coins in recent American history, the 2009 D Lincoln Penny 1-cent coin. This little copper-colored coin, often found tucked away in pocket change or sitting forgotten in a coin jar, might just be the golden ticket you've been hoping for. Stick around, because today we're uncovering the hidden story, rare variations, collector demand, and ultimately the shocking value one of these pennies can fetch. You won't want to miss the jaw-dropping price tag we reveal at the very end. Let's rewind to the year 2009. This was a monumental time for U.S. coinage and for the story of the penny. That year marked the 200th anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States and one of the most beloved figures in American history. But that's not all. 2009 was also the 100th anniversary of the very first Lincoln cent, which first appeared in 1909 to commemorate his legacy. So what did the United States Mint do to celebrate this incredible dual milestone? They did something that made coin collectors everywhere sit up and take notice. The U.S. Mint released a special series of 4 different reverse designs for the 2009 Lincoln penny, each one representing a key chapter in Abraham Lincoln's life. The one we're talking about today, the 2009 D version minted in Denver, is a part of this exclusive, limited-year collection. Each reverse design tells its own powerful story. One design shows Lincoln's humble log cabin birth in Kentucky. Another captures his boyhood in Indiana. The third illustrates his time as a young man in Illinois, working and studying, often by firelight, and preparing for a life of leadership. And the fourth features the half-finished U.S. Capitol dome in Washington, D.C., symbolizing Lincoln's presidency during the Civil War and the unfinished nature of democracy itself. But what makes the Denver minted 2009 penny so unique? The D Mint mark on the coin signifies that it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary production facilities for U.S. coins. Now here's where it gets interesting. Although millions of these coins were produced for general circulation, not all were created equal. The level of detail, the sharpness of the strike, and even the quality of the metal vary from coin to coin, and that's where collectors start to pay serious attention. Some 2009 D Lincoln pennies were made with exceptional precision and preserved in flawless condition. Others may contain rare minting errors such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, or unusual die breaks that occurred during production and slipped through unnoticed. These rare anomalies, especially when combined with the historical importance of the coin, have driven up demand like never before. Over time, collectors have come to see the 2009 Lincoln pennies not just as commemorative coins, but as miniature works of art that tell the story of America through the lens of one extraordinary man. And because 2009 was a one-year-only release for this series, the availability of high-grade specimens is limited. Every year that passes makes finding one in pristine condition even harder and even more valuable. If you happen to find a 2009 D Lincoln cent with clear, sharp features, no scratches or wear, and especially if it's in its original uncirculated or proof state, you could be looking at something far more valuable than a single cent. Graded versions of these coins, especially those certified by organizations like PCGS or NGC, have already made headlines at coin shows and auctions. And now let's talk about the types of features collectors are hunting for. A strong strike with high detail in Lincoln's beard, clear edges on the building designs, and a smooth, lustrous finish are all signs of a high-quality coin. But it gets better. If your coin has a doubling in the text or image, known as a doubled die, or a minting error like an off-center design or extra metal on the coin's surface, you may be in possession of something truly rare. These factors, the historical importance, limited run, mint-specific characteristics, and the possibility of errors, combine to create serious collector appeal. Some versions of the 2009 D penny have already sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially when verified and graded at the top tiers. But there's one particular version that has stunned the collecting world, and now, the moment you've been waiting for, the ultimate reveal. One of these tiny, unassuming 2009 D Lincoln 1-cent coins, featuring the image of young Abraham Lincoln in his early years, in flawless mint condition with rare characteristics, has been valued by collectors and auctioneers at an astonishing $45,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single Lincoln penny, just 1 cent in face value, can be worth $45,000 when the stars align. So before you toss the change in the coin jar or overlook an old penny sitting in a drawer, take a closer look. Check the date. Look for that little D mint mark. Examine the details. Because who knows? You might just be holding a piece of American history that's worth more than a car, more than a vacation, even more than your monthly rent. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an opportunity to learn, collect, and maybe even discover treasure in your own home. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy hunting, and may your next coin find be your biggest one yet. Coin 2. We're zooming in on a coin that millions of people have handled, often without realizing they might be holding something incredibly valuable. Yes, we're talking about the 1980 Lincoln penny from the United States of America. Now, most people wouldn't give a second thought to a coin that says 1 cent. You've probably seen one in a handful of change, passed it off at the grocery store, or even ignored it on the sidewalk. But what if I told you that one of those small copper coins from 1980 could be worth more than a brand new luxury car? Sounds crazy, right? But it's absolutely true, and we're going to uncover exactly why. Let's rewind time and take a step back into the year 1980. The United States was going through an era of transformation. Ronald Reagan was just months away from winning the presidency. Inflation was high, gas prices were soaring, and the economy was unpredictable. In the middle of all this, the U.S. Mint was quietly producing billions of Lincoln cents. But as every coin collector knows, not all coins are created equal. Even if they look the same at first glance. The Lincoln penny has been around since 1909, when it was introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. His profile, based on a sculpted design by Victor D. Brenner, has graced the obverse side of the coin ever since. But what really sets the 1980 penny apart? Let's dive into the details. First off, in 1980, the Lincoln penny was still made mostly of copper. This was just a couple of years before the mint switched to a copper-plated zinc composition in 1982 due to rising metal costs. So already, the 1980 penny is part of the last generation of real copper coins, a fact that makes it more desirable to collectors. On the front of the coin, you'll see the familiar image of Lincoln in profile, with the words "In God We Trust" arched along the top, Liberty to the left, and the year 1980 to the right. Just below the mint mark, either a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no mint mark at all for Philadelphia. The reverse side features the Lincoln Memorial in stunning detail, with the denomination 1 cent and the words United States of America. So far, it sounds like a pretty ordinary penny, right? But here's where things get interesting. There are rare varieties and hidden errors in some of these 1980 Lincoln pennies that make them extremely valuable. For example, certain pennies from this year may feature what's known as a double die, a minting error where the die used to strike the coin was misaligned, causing the letters or details on the coin to appear doubled. These errors can be subtle, but under magnification, you can see the doubling on words like Liberty or the date 1980. Another desirable feature is a high-grade strike, which refers to how sharply and cleanly the details are imprinted on the coin. A perfectly struck penny, with deep definition in Lincoln's hair, beard, and the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, can fetch a significant premium, especially if it's been preserved in mint condition. But we're not just talking about small collector premiums here. Certain rare 1980 Lincoln pennies, particularly those that have been professionally graded as flawless or nearly flawless, are commanding serious attention from collectors. These coins are often sent to grading companies like PCGS or NGC, which assign a numerical grade based on their condition. A coin graded as MS67 or higher is considered exceptional, and that's when the value starts to skyrocket. What's even more exciting is that some pennies from 1980 were struck on the wrong planchet, a blank piece of metal meant for another coin. When this kind of error happens, and it's verified, it creates a one-of-a-kind coin that collectors are willing to pay big money for. Imagine a Lincoln penny struck on a dime or foreign planchet. These are the types of mint errors that don't just make headlines, they make history. Now you might be wondering, how do I know if I have one of these rare pennies? The truth is, it's all in the details. You'll want to look for strong, clear features on Lincoln's face and the memorial. Examine the letters for any signs of doubling. Use a magnifying glass, a good light, and maybe even compare it to other pennies from the same year. If you think you've got something unusual, it might be worth having your coin professionally appraised or graded. Remember, condition is everything. A coin that's been sitting in a drawer for decades, untouched and unblemished, is going to be worth a lot more than one that's been rattling around in your pocket with keys and loose change. Collectors today are more passionate than ever about Lincoln pennies, and the market is hotter than it's been in years. With increased interest in coin collecting, plus the historical value and metal content of pre-1982 pennies, prices continue to rise, especially for rare variations in perfect specimens. So here's the big moment you've been waiting for. Believe it or not, a 1980 Lincoln penny, yes, a 1-cent coin from 1980, has been sold for an unbelievable amount of $65,000 when found in pristine condition with the right error features and high grading. Yes, you heard that right. $65,000 for a single penny that might be hiding in your change jar right now. This just proves that treasure doesn't always come in the form of gold bars or ancient artifacts. Sometimes, it's a small, copper coin that tells a big story and holds even bigger value. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, incredible coin finds, and the hidden gems that could be waiting in your wallet, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. We've got more amazing coin stories coming your way, and who knows, your next big discovery could be just 1 penny away. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep your eyes open and your pockets full. Coin 3. We're shining a spotlight on one of the most talked about and mysterious coins in American currency, the 1982 Lincoln penny. Now, don't be fooled by its small size or the fact that it says 1 cent. This little coin is anything but ordinary. What makes the 1982 Lincoln cent so fascinating? Well, you're about to find out. We'll take you through a hidden chapter in U.S. mint history, explore what makes this coin so special, and reveal how one simple-looking penny could be worth a fortune. So, stay with me until the very end, because you'll want to hear just how much one rare version of this coin has been valued at. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Let's rewind back to the early 1980s. The United States was going through a period of economic change. Inflation was on the rise, and the cost of producing a single penny was actually starting to exceed its face value. Why? Because at the time, pennies were still made primarily of copper, an increasingly expensive metal. So in 1982, the U.S. Mint made a major decision that would quietly create one of the biggest shifts in modern coinage. That year, they began transitioning the composition of the Lincoln penny from 95% copper and 5% zinc to a much cheaper zinc core with just a thin copper coating. But here's the twist, they didn't do it all at once. Instead, both types of pennies, the copper and the copper-coated zinc, were produced during the same year. That means there are multiple versions of the 1982 Lincoln penny out there, and they aren't all created equal. In fact, there are 7 known varieties of the 1982 penny when you consider all the combinations of large date, small date, copper, and zinc. And among those, some are so rare that collectors are willing to pay thousands, yes, thousands, for them. Let's break it down. First, there are large date and small date variations. This refers to the size and shape of the numbers in the year 1982 stamped on the coin. You have to look very closely, especially at the number 2, to tell them apart. Then, you've got the metal composition. Some coins are copper, and some are copper-plated zinc. The easiest way to test this is by weighing the coin. A copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams, while the lighter zinc version weighs around 2.5 grams. Now imagine this, millions of these coins were made, but only a tiny handful have the perfect combination of features that make them rare. One of the most famous and valuable versions is the 1982 D small date penny struck on a copper planchet, a coin that technically shouldn't exist. Most small date Denver pennies were only supposed to be made in zinc, so finding one in copper is like finding a glitch in the mint's matrix. And that glitch is exactly what gets collectors excited. Even without rare errors, 1982 pennies in high grade, mint condition are still in demand. Coins that have been well preserved, never circulated, no scratches or signs of wear, can fetch impressive amounts, especially if they're professionally graded by companies like PCGS or NGC. A coin graded MS66 or MS67 is considered almost flawless, and these grades drastically increase the market value. But now, let's talk about something even more exciting, error coins from 1982. This is where things get wild. During the transition between metal types, mistakes happened. Some coins were struck with inconsistent alloys. Others were struck using mismatched dies or appeared with off-center designs. These kinds of errors are extremely rare and extremely valuable. For example, a few 1982 pennies have been found struck on planchets meant for other coins, making them unique one-of-a-kind collectibles. It's worth mentioning that some people unknowingly spend these valuable pennies every day, thinking they're just spare change. That's why coin collectors and enthusiasts are always on the lookout. A simple penny can be a life-changing discovery if you know what to look for. So, How do you check your 1982 pennies? First, separate them by mint mark. Coins with no mint mark were made in Philadelphia, while those with a D were struck in Denver. Next, determine whether you have a large date or a small date. Then, weigh the coin using a precise scale. If you find a small date D penny that weighs more than 3 grams, you might be holding something extremely rare. And finally, inspect the coin's surface and edges. Clean, sharp features and no signs of damage? That's the kind of condition collectors crave, and now let's bring it all together. Between the rare metal transitions, the unexpected errors, and the multiple design variations, the 1982 Lincoln penny has become one of the most exciting modern coins in American history. It represents a turning point in U.S. mint production and a golden opportunity for collectors to uncover a rare gem hiding in plain sight. And now, for the big reveal you've been waiting for. Believe it or not, one of these 1982 Lincoln pennies, yes, a 1-cent coin, has been sold to a private collector for an astonishing $58,000. That's right. $58,000 for a penny that someone might have once tossed into a vending machine without a second thought. This is why coin collecting is so incredible. It's not just about old money, it's about hidden value, history, rarity, and the thrill of the hunt. So go ahead and check your jars, your drawers, and your old collections. Because somewhere out there, a 1982 Lincoln penny could be the next great discovery, and it could be sitting in your hand right now. But if you enjoyed this video and you want to keep uncovering the secrets behind everyday coins with extraordinary value, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap that notification bell so you never miss an upload. We've got more amazing stories coming your way, and who knows? One of them might just lead you to a penny worth of fortune. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep your eyes open, your coins clean, and your hopes high. Your next big find might just be 1 cent away.